Hey guys, this is Sandeep from RevAtlas and welcome back to yet another video, and today we'll be taking a look at the review of the Dell XPS 139310 featuring the latest 11th generation Intel Core i7 Tiger Lake chipset. And before we get this started, please do make sure to hit the subscribe button and also turn on notifications to avoid missing any videos from us in the future. Now let's begin. Now before we get started with the review process itself, let's talk about the two different variants and also mention the one that we have with us. The basic variant starts at an MRP of Rs 1,49,990, while the variant that we have retails at an MRP of Rs 2,09,990. Both of them come with 11th generation Intel Tiger Lake processors, but the base variant comes with an i5 1135G7 chipset, while the one that we have comes with an i7 1185G7 chipset, and both of them come with Intel Iris Xe graphics. We also get 1 TB of NVMe SSD on our unit, while the base variant comes with 512 GB. You get 8 GB of RAM on the base variant, while you get 16 GB of RAM on our variant. And the other difference is mainly in terms of the display, where you get a 1080p display with 1920 by 1200 pixels of resolution, while you get a much higher 3840 by 2400 pixel display on the higher end variant that we have here. Let's start by talking about the design itself, because this is so simple yet beautiful and elegant. I believe this is my favorite laptop in terms of aesthetics and looks, and extremely small footprint considering the screen size, and the build quality is great as well. The perfect hinge and weight distribution allows one finger lift mechanism compared to others that require more than one finger or even two hands, without which the bottom chassis lifts up. I love the color combination, especially on our variant, because of the carbon fiber with white color on the insides and the bezels as well, which looks really great, especially with the frosted silver color. The aluminum chassis weighs in at just 1.2 kilograms, which is very light, and along with the small footprint, it makes it easy to carry around even without a bag. I also like the minimal branding. There's a Dell logo on the A plate and an XPS logo on the D plate, and that's about it. By the way, the white insides, there's also a UV and stain resistant coating to prevent yellowing, so don't worry about it getting dirty over time. The keyboard is excellent. I honestly thought that we would get a subpar typing experience considering the overall footprint, and I expected poor spacing and small keys, but actually the key size is perfect. There's good travel and response from the keys as well. But actually Dell has really cleverly used the space, because despite being 2% smaller and 6% thinner than the outgoing generation, they have managed to cram in a 6.8% larger display, 17% larger touchpad, and an edge-to-edge keyboard, and the results speak for themselves. There's a slight flex on the keyboard membrane surrounding the keys, but the overall deck itself and the display doesn't wobble, which again shows the excellent build quality. The backlight is in white, and it is good with even lighting with 2-stage brightness, and is more than sufficient. The power key, by the way, also has a fingerprint scanner, which is fast and responsive as well as accurate. The display is excellent. It's made by Sharp and the exact model is written on screen, but the display looks so immersive despite being a 13-inch laptop because of the extremely small bezels. The bezels are a bit thicker on the top and bottom, but only just, and keep in mind that the webcam is also here, which is a 720p HD1. The 13.4-inch display is extremely sharp, has great colors and viewing angles, as well as good brightness. It performs well indoors or on the go, especially thanks to the 500 nits of peak brightness, which makes it great even for outdoors. My only slight gripe is that the light bleed is noticeable at the bottom right edge, but I have a feeling that it could be specific to my unit as well. Now this is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 6, which makes it more resistant against scratches and breakage. And apart from the Intel 11th generation Tiger Lake 1185G7 chipset, another biggest reason to upgrade to the higher end model is the screen itself. It is amazing, be it for browsing, word processing, content creation, or even light gaming. In terms of ports, you get two USB Type-C Thunderbolt 4 ports, which is supported courtesy the 11th generation Intel Core i7 CPU inside, and it's great especially since you can use this as a display out, and you can charge your laptop from either side, as there is one USB port on either side. You also get a Type-C to Type-A adapter in the box if you wish to connect any peripherals or accessories that make use of the larger port. You get a micro SD card slot on one side and a combo audio jack on the other side. You also get two 2.5 watt speakers that give a combined output of 4 watts. It's decent but not too loud, but provides good quality audio. There isn't much bass either, but overall on par with what you would expect from a device of this dimension. In terms of performance, let us start with the SSD, which is blazing fast and posted in excess of 3100 megabytes per second read speed and over 2700 megabytes per second write speeds, which is among the fastest that you can get on any laptop currently. In terms of thermals, I was quite surprised that it didn't get too hot despite pushing it to its limits, and the surface did reach up to 48 degrees in certain parts, but again it wasn't too hot to a touch. But internally the temps were pretty much in the 70s and rare instances 80 degrees Celsius, which is great considering that this laptop is mainly meant for office and productivity work, not so much for gaming or 4K editing, but the performance and thermal management are excellent. Now we did try to push it to its limits by doing photo editing as well as video editing in 4K even on Premiere Pro, and the Intel 11th generation i7 1185G7 CPU performed very well and much better than some of the other laptops that I've tested in this particular category. Of course, it does not have a dedicated GPU and therefore this might not be your first choice if you're a content creator, but I still didn't expect to perform so well. The timeline was very smooth, especially thanks to the Intel Iris Xe graphics and the CPU, which handled it nicely with quick export times as well, and you also had fast storage. Now the Intel Iris Xe graphics is something that performed exceedingly well, especially on a slim and light productivity machine such as this. Now here I would also like to mention that if you're thinking of doing creative tasks, I would suggest going for the higher end variant, considering the fact that both the SSD as well as RAM are soldered on and you cannot upgrade it later once you purchase the device. One major thing I found when testing is that unlike some other laptops, this one performed practically just as good on battery power as it did when connected to a power source. Intel's Evo platform does have a big role to play in this, and I shall explain in detail very soon. Now, while most people buying this laptop would not actually be planning to do a lot of hardcore gaming, we were pleasantly surprised with just how well the Intel 1185G7 11th generation chipset and the Intel Iris Xe graphics performed, as it was able to handle games such as GTA 5 and Valorant pretty well. Now when we had these settings in medium or normal, we were getting upwards of 90 FPS, while at high, we were getting pretty much 60 FPS fixed on GTA 5 at the highest resolution, and that's pretty impressive for something as slim and light as this. The laptop supports Wi-Fi 6 via the killer wireless AX1650 card, and we got consistent results in our speed test, and the range was also pretty good. Now coming to the battery life, this comes with a 52 watt-hour battery, which seems to be small. But thanks to the 11th generation Intel Core i7 Tiger Lake CPU, this has great efficiency and we got great battery life. Now you get up to 14 hours on the Full HD model and close to 9 hours on the 4K model, which is what Dell quotes, but in our experience we got easily 8+ hours for day-to-day scenarios, and this just shows how much of an importance the Evo certification from Intel carries, as this is a massive bump in terms of performance compared to the previous iterations of the XPS 13. One of the reasons behind this is the fact that the laptop is part of the Intel Evo platform, where there are a few minimum requirements that any laptop of this platform should meet. What this means for the end user is basically in terms of battery life, charging and other daily use case scenarios where there were previously pain points. Simply put, the Intel Evo platform means that Intel makes sure that a manufacturer does whatever possible to improve the end user experience. For example, you get instant wake, you no longer need to spend time waiting for your computer to be ready when you want to get work done or have ideas flowing. You get better battery life, which means you don't have to worry about going to search for a charger each and every time you enter a new room. And it also has fast charging just in case you need to quickly top up your battery. Now, Intel has also several mandates for the platform, including the need to bundle fast Wi-Fi 6, which this one has, Thunderbolt 4, fast storage drive, sleek design, high quality audio and much more, all of which this laptop meets. In the box you get a 45 watt USB Type-C charger with LED indicators on either side of the Type-C plug, which looks great, and you can also use it to charge either port. I'd be lying if I said that I expected the Dell XPS 13 to be this good. I did expect that it wouldn't be able to handle some of my workflows and workloads, which is generally more CPU and GPU intensive, but thanks to the Intel Core i7 Tiger Lake chipset, this did exceedingly well. It has great performance, an amazing display, good design and ergonomics, as well as a wonderful keyboard, trackpad and good battery life. What more do you need? That's it for this video, guys. If you have any questions, do let us know in the comment section below. I'll also include a purchase link in description and in the comment section in case you're interested in buying. See you again in the next one, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button.